Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. As we continue to dig into messaging, there comes a point where it feels a little bit overwhelming, right? You're making progress, and then there's this invisible wall that you hit. And inevitably, there is this one piece that you just can't seem to figure out, no matter how many times you read and reread a resource. You know what I'm talking about, right? The wall feels especially dense when you don't have any more time to give to the issue. The key is to have a plan for when this happens. And today we're going to talk about the importance of plans in your messaging and in your business. Okay, so I was sitting on the stairs leading out to the garage one morning. I went down the stairs and I sat down. I had my shoes in front of me and my purse was already thrown over my shoulder and I was frozen. My husband came out of his office to tell us goodbye, and he took one look at me and he knew that I was frozen. I have this look, apparently. I was stuck with my next steps. It wasn't about, how do I put my shoes on? It wasn't about walking out the door to go to the cello lesson. It was knowing what to do in my business. I didn't have a plan for the next steps. And it was a lot like running into a wall. Everything stopped because without a plan, I couldn't get anything done. And what I really wanted was to be serving my clients and to continue growing my business. Nate knew that if I was going to get unstuck, I needed a plan to follow. He reminded me, you don't need something elaborate. He said, just one simple plan. What's one simple step you could take today? What could you execute and see results? And then he encouraged me to think, okay, so if that's step one, what's step two and step three? Let's just keep it to 3 things that I could do. And because I was heading out the door and I couldn't just literally stay stuck to the step, we made a pact to sit down that night and come up with a plan so that I could actually make progress. That moment isn't unlike what your clients are going through. Maybe you've experienced it. Maybe you've had your own sit on the stair moment when things are just hard. Our clients are struggling with something. And maybe it's something that is massive. Maybe it's something that is seemingly easy or small. Perhaps they have the desire to learn a new skill. Maybe they want to make a change in their life. They don't know what the next step is. No matter what the reason behind feeling stuck or struggling is, they need a plan. And this is where I truly, truly love StoryBrand. Because when you create a plan that you share with your messaging, when you're sharing that plan with your potential clients and your students, you get to keep it simple. In fact, you have to keep it simple. That's the key. Because if you make your plan complex, if Nate had told me that day on the stairs, okay, honey, let's map out the next 100 things that you need to do to take the next step in your business, I would have exploded or imploded. I'm not sure which one I would have done that day. It would have been something. I guarantee it would not have been forward progress. If you make it complex, if you make that plan really complex, then you're going to create even more stuckness. You're going to create even more overwhelm. Instead, the goal is to help the person to see the path forward. We want to kind of hack away the weeds that have overgrown the path. Maybe they didn't even know the path was there, so you're kind of uncovering it for them. And while you and I both know that there are a lot of steps between here and where they want to be, the plan isn't about intricate details. It's about the big, broad strokes. Imagine a Google map. Let's put in your address. Put in your address. And what happens is it zooms in so that you can see every detail of your home. Maybe it's the balcony on your apartment complex, complete with the chairs that you had on it when the Google drone flew over your apartment. Maybe it's the tomato plants that are growing on your back deck. Maybe there's even a squirrel in your backyard who's just sitting there saying, hey, I'm here. That's a really detailed, zoomed in picture of your home, right? When you can start seeing all of those things. Now imagine hitting the minus button, that zoom out button, and I want you to zoom out a little bit. And when you hit it just once or twice, you see a little bit more. It's less detailed. You see a bigger, broader picture, but it's less detailed. So now maybe you can see your neighbor's house, maybe the shop next door or the school that's right outside your neighborhood entrance that your kids walk to. But I want you to keep hitting the zoom out button until you are seeing your town or your city. This is the view we want for the plan. We want to see the city overarching plan, one that has the overarching details. Maybe you can see the main highway, but not all the little tiny roads in detail. You can see the overall layout of your town. You can kind of see where there are fields, where there's industry, where there's your downtown. And this is where we want to be with our plans when we're creating them for our clients, when we're creating them to help our clients know what to do. To get to this view, it means you get 3, maybe 4 max steps that you can refer to in your messaging. I personally like 3, but I'll share a time with you when 4 works well. But you'll definitely have to let me know what you prefer. Do you like the 3-step plan or a 4-step plan? I'm curious to know what you think once you put this into action. So let's start with the first step. Regardless of whether you're going 3 or 4 steps, the first step is the same for everyone. This is the step where people are entering into your world. It might be a discovery call. It could be signing up for your course. It could be choosing the payment plan that works best for them. If you're a coach, it's probably going to be something like book a discovery call. If you have a course, it might be something like choose the payment plan that works best for you. It might be add the course to your weekly schedule, which implies that they've already purchased your offer. It might be choose the timeline that best fits your schedule. So if you have different cohort start dates, again, you get the picture here. We're welcoming someone into the world, into your world specifically. The second step, this is where you get into the details a little bit more, but again, with simplicity and clarity in mind. You might say that step 2 is to create a plan for achieving your goals, or complete the weekly course modules, or maybe it's to attend weekly coaching calls and work toward your goals or your vision. Now, here I told you the time when I think a 4-step is really nice is if you have recorded components and live components to your offer. This might be a great time to use a 4-step plan. So you could have step 3 is to watch the weekly modules, or step 2 is to watch the weekly modules. Step 3 is to attend the live coaching calls to get guidance and help implementing the material. And in doing that, what you're doing is emphasizing the progression. They do the work alone, then they get help together. Okay, so if you have a course with the recorded and live components, even if you have a coaching program like that, it might be nice to have 4 total steps where the first one welcomes them into your world. Steps 2 and 3 are a progression of moving through your content. And then step 4 is your last step. So either step 3 or step 4 is your last step, depending on what model you're going with. That last step is going to show the transformation that's happening because of the plan that you put in place with them. The final step is something like sleep the night away and wake up feeling rested, or master the art of meal prep so that you are not a slave to local fast food restaurants. It might be something like experience peace of mind each time you're faced with a new challenge. What we're doing here is walking them down the path. We kind of hacked away the front piece of it so that they can see the path, where it's going. We are showing them what they're going to do when they work with us. And what you'll notice is I did not say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 100. There's no lengthy checklists. There's no steps that require months to think through or to read through. This is a bird's eye view of your plan for them. It's that city view that we talked about a moment ago. And you can use these plans in so many ways. This is why it's important to actually spend a considerable amount of time thinking about what plan you want to put in place in your messaging, because you're going to use it in posts, in emails, on your website, especially on your homepage when you wireframe that or outline it and put everything together. You're going to use it on discovery calls. You're going to use it on sales pages. You're going to use it in social media bios, maybe even in your elevator pitch as you share what you do. For example, you could say, I might say something like this. I help course creators and coaches to get really clear on their messaging by sitting down and having in-depth conversations about their business. This uncovers not only what they already have working, but what their vision is for the future. And these conversations give us the food for a robust and detailed messaging playbook that acts as the foundation so that they can be confident in their marketing and business decisions. Now, I didn't say step 1, step 2, step 3, anywhere in there, did I? But it's all in there. More specifically, I said, okay, we sit down for in-depth conversations. Step 1, right? We create a robust playbook. Step 2. Step 3, now they have a foundation that instills confidence and works with all aspects of their business decisions. So you can see that having a plan that's really simple allows you to have a lot of flexibility in talking to your potential client. You might have a social media bio that says, stuck with, here's the plan, step 1, 2, 3. And you can keep that you can really narrow that down, keep it short on characters, and that might be a fun social media bio to let them know up front, here's the plan. If you intend to work with me, I've got you covered. So you can see, I could imagine email sequences here actually, where you talk about the journey that your clients take. As you're welcoming them to your world, you can start talking about what the journey of this transformation, what it looks like. You're not going into the details, so you're not giving away your paid content or your paid coaching. You are giving them that overarching view. You're telling them what happens, but they don't get the how in it. So you can create a really beautiful email sequence with this information. Are you starting to see the power of having this really simple, really easy plan? It just goes everywhere with you. It's kind of like your business on an old school card that you might hand out, right? A business card. Now, because of the importance of having a plan, now that you have some examples rattling around in your head, it is time to act. You know me, if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, even just one other time, you'll know I'm really big on taking action. Because as entrepreneurs, here's one thing that happens. We consume content, we consume ideas and resources and tools and build our skills, and it's really easy to not actually implement. So today, I want you to implement. I want you to take action. Your action item for this week is to create your own zoomed out, simple 3 or 4-step plan that you can share in your messaging. Go back through the examples I talked about today. Test out different combinations. Step 1 is them taking the very first step with you. Step 2 or step 2 and 3 will be the meat of what you offer, the bulk of the work that they do. And then step 3 or 4, if you have 4 steps, will be the transformation your client experiences. How is their life better because they worked with you? Got that? That's your action item. Come up with your own zoomed out, simple 3 or 4-step plan that you can share in your messaging. Now, over the past few weeks, we have been talking a lot about using the StoryBrand framework in your business, from talking about wants versus needs to the 3 tiers of problems that your clients are facing. And this week, we took that understanding and that messaging just a little bit of a step forward in talking about how to put together a plan that gives your client hope and helps them to see the possibilities, the future of working, what happens when they work with you. So if you are putting together your messaging, and I hope you are, and you need a second set of eyes, or you're ready to get help in creating a messaging playbook that acts as your foundation so that you can be confident in your decisions, check out the link in the show description. I'll share a quick form with you that you can fill out, and we can set up a time to chat face-to-face on Zoom and talk through some of your messaging questions just to keep you moving forward. I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to my weekly emails, because I am sharing resources, I'm sharing videos, trainings with my email subscribers to help them build their business with confidence each and every week. If you are not yet a subscriber to my weekly emails, just head over to Instagram or Facebook and DM me the word subscribe. You can find me at Entrepreneurs in Flow, and I will help you get set up so that you can get those resources on a weekly basis. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you back here next week for another episode of the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where we focus on mentoring, community, and implementation so that we can remove the overwhelm of building a successful and profitable business and add in a little bit of a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.